Hello, and a warm welcome to this micro lecture on gravitational force. What is gravitational force? Gravitational force is often referred to as the pulling force that a huge object like the Earth applies on an object around its surface. All the objects around us are subjected to the Earth's gravitational force. It is not difficult to appreciate the existence of gravitational force. Indeed, objects around us always have the tendency to fall from a greater height to a lower height, and this demonstrates the existence of the gravitational force. However, how an object sliding down an inclined plane is linked to the gravitational force is somewhat more complex. You see, the gravitational force is pulling the block downwards, but the block does not move downwards. Instead, it slides along the inclined plane at an angle. Some students who studied physics may feel that this can be easily explained by resolving the gravitational force into two perpendicular components, according to the values of sine and cosine at the angle of concern. The F sine theta component is acting along the inclined plane, thereby causing the block to slide down along the plank. Well, resolving a force into two perpendicular components is a mathematical tool which I am not sure how many students really understand the underlying physical meaning. We would need a more intuitive explanation. Let me attempt to explain it in a simpler way. Look, if we take the height at which the block is released as a reference, you will realize that the block indeed moves downwards. Therefore, we have every reason to hypothesize that the block slides down due to the downwards pull of the gravitational force. The amount of pull along an inclined plane can be measured using a data logger with a force sensor. Look, the force sensor is attached to the top part of the inclined plane. Now, secure a cut to the force sensor and let the cut rest on the inclined plane. Due to the gravitational force, the cut has a tendency to slide down, thereby pulling the force sensor. Since the frictional force acting on the wheels of the cut is very small, the force reading displayed on the data logger essentially gives the amount of pull on the cut along the inclined plane due to the gravitational force. With this setup called the EFG kit, the top part of the plank can be easily raised to different heights. Thereby allowing us to investigate how the angle of inclination affects the pull due to the gravitational force. In this connection, the force sensor readings clearly indicates that the larger the angle, the larger the pull along the inclined plane due to the gravitational force. A larger pull at a larger angle causes an object to slide or roll faster down the inclined plane, which we can see visually. Exactly how fast an object slides or rolls down the plane can be measured using a data logger with 1 or 2 photo gates. Look, we can attach 1 or 2 photo gates to the plane. What is a photo gate?
The photogate is a sensor that comes with an infrared or IR emitter and an IR receiver. When a photogate is connected to the MGA, the emitter will keep sending an IR light towards the receiver. If there is no object between the emitter and receiver, the receiver is able to receive IR light and the photogate will produce a high voltage of about 5 volts. If something comes in between them, the IR light will be blocked and the voltage will be reduced to 0 volts.
Now, let the cart roll down the plank with 1 photo gate. As the cart rolls down, the rod attached to it will block the light emitted by the photogate, causing a dip in the photogate signal. The width of the rod and the duration of the dip enable us to compute the speed of the cart. Next, let the cart roll down the plank with 2 photo gates. One dip will arise when the light emitted by the first photogate is blocked by the rod attached to the cart. The other dip will arise in a similar way. The width of the rod, the time difference between the 2 dips, and their durations enable us to compute the acceleration of the cart. You may want to let your students carry out such experiments to measure the amount of pull along an inclined plane due to the gravitational force, and investigate how the angle of inclination affects the speed and the acceleration of the object sliding or rolling down. They will gain a deeper understanding of the subject matter. Thank you very much for your attention.